Hello everyone, my name is Justin Ernest. I'm a counselor on the Oconee campus, and in this video I'm going to share with you my 6-step process for overcoming fear or just facing fear. And I want to be really clear that this video is not about stopping yourself from feeling fear. So feeling fear is a very natural part of our life, but living in fear and being overcome by it is unnecessary and it's it's avoidable. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to face your fear and to be able to overcome it so it's not just taking over your life. So step one is just open up to the fear. You want to open up to it, embrace it. It seems a little counterintuitive, but anytime we close ourselves off to feeling fear, it makes it that much stronger. So we have to be able to be open to it, to be able to embrace it and allow it into our experience. Step two, you want to allow yourself to momentarily feel the sensation of fear in the body. And specifically, you want to be able to feel the physical, sort of the physical emotional sensation in wherever it's located in the body. It's usually somewhere in the chest and the heart area that we feel a tightness or some sort of contraction. So you want to allow yourself to feel this pure, raw, physical, emotional sensation without going into the story of the fear, without going into the thoughts of whatever is causing the fear. So just feeling the pure, raw sensation of it in the body. And it's really important to allow yourself to just feel the sensation without that story attached to it. And just allow yourself to feel that for a moment. Just allow that feeling to be in your experience. Okay? So, step three is tune into the part of yourself that is already present with the the fear, that's already allowing the fear to be in your experience. Some part of you is pushing something away, and that's part of the reason why you feel the fear. But there's also some part of you that is allowing it into your experience. So in this third step, we want to tune into that part of ourselves that is already openly just allowing that fear to be there. This part of ourselves, it doesn't have any commentary on the fear, it doesn't have any judgment about it, it doesn't really have any say, it's just simply allowing it to be there. Tuning into this part of yourself can be a little bit easier if you've had some experience with meditation. But any degree of just noticing the part of yourself that is allowing it to be there is helpful. See if you can notice the contrast between the part of yourself that's allowing and the part of yourself that is resisting that fear. So step four is to return to that physical emotional sensation of fear in the body, and then notice the story that's attached to it. So the story it would be any thoughts that come up. If you were to put this fear into words, what would those words be? When you start to explore fear, one thing that you might notice is that the majority of things that we are fearful of really have nothing to do with what is actually happening in the moment. So most of the time, if not all of the time, fear is a result of something in the future, something that we're imagining in the future that could happen. So in this step, in step four, you want to explore those potential future scenarios that you are fearful of. And you really want to take your time with this. Go slowly and explore each little story that comes up, and just follow the thread of that story to wherever it goes. Follow it to its outcome. Some examples of this might be, maybe you're afraid of failing a test, or maybe you're afraid of failing a class. And if you fail a class, then, maybe you won't get this certain job, or maybe you won't be able to pay your rent. So these are all the stories that we tell ourselves, and those are all the stories that are attached to that physical, emotional sensation of fear in the body. And it's these stories that really feed that fear and amp it up and keep it active. And so we want to really take time to explore each of these stories in more detail, and just be open to looking at each of these stories. And when you're going through each of these stories, notice how you would respond in each of these situations. If it doesn't come naturally to you, then notice all the positive ways that you could cope with that scenario if you actually had to face it. Like, how would you get through that scenario? What sort of internal strengths or resources do you have that could help you through that? What external strengths and resources do you have that could help you through that? And with each little story that you follow, see if you can come to an end, to a resolution of how you would actually deal with that story. Another thing you can explore here is what you might actually stand to gain if you were going through that experience. So after you've come to a successful resolution with each of those scenarios, and you openly allow yourself to face these scenarios, um, just go ahead and let go of those stories and resume whatever you were doing before you started feeling the fear. Step 5 is to take time to notice moments throughout the day where you're not feeling any fear at all. So this is really important because this really shows us the capacity that we have to not be overcome by fear, or just to experience moments of peace. If you can notice those moments throughout the day when you're actually feeling okay, then some part of yourself is actually able to be okay right here, right now, in the moment. Step 6 is just going back to, if that fear returns throughout the day and it comes back in a really strong way, just go back to step 1 and repeat each of these steps until you have really faced this fear or completely eradicated it. The last thing that I want to say about fear is that if some part of us is feeling fearful, this is just showing us in our life things that we are not open to. And if we can be open to some of these things, a lot of that fear can subside very naturally. Now, of course, there are some things like, yes, that you don't want to happen, and that's completely understandable. But there are some things in life that are scary and can actually be really good for us. We don't always know what's best for us, and sometimes life takes us to places we couldn't have dreamed about, and the ride is not always peaceful or enjoyable. Sometimes those moments of change come with fear, but more often than not, life tends to support us. If it didn't, we wouldn't be here right now. So while it is natural to feel fear, we do not have to live in it. So just take some time to try this out on your own, see what you think, and thank you for watching.